Hey everyone, just wanted to hop on here really quick to tell everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy whatever you're celebrating today, whether maybe that's just spending time with friends and family. Just wanted to hop on a quick live. I am out on a walk. My son is taking his nap. My wife is taking a nap. So dad's going to go out and put on a 20-pound sack on his back and walk around the neighborhood for a few hours. Just getting out here, enjoying the day. It's 85 degrees almost in Austin, Texas. I can't complain about that on December 25th. But I hope everyone is having a good day. Just wanted to update everybody. Tomorrow I'm going to be posting a Physiology Friday, not physiologically speaking. Physiology Friday. I'll probably do a rundown of the top 10 most popular articles that I wrote for Physiology Friday this year. So keep an eye out for that. Should be covering some of the most popular studies that, the most read ones. I may also do the top 5 most interesting studies that I found to be most interesting, at least this year. It's always hard to choose. There's so much cool science. I feel like this year there was a lot of fun, interesting science, especially in endurance sports. I don't know. It just seemed different this year. There was some interesting medical endurance sports crossover studies. There was some interesting stuff on heat acclimation. There was some awesome stuff on carbohydrate fueling. So it's going to be tough to choose what my number one study was this year, but I'll try to post a similar, or I guess I'll include them in the same post, but I'll do something about, my top 5 favorite studies. So keep an eye out on that. That'll be the post for tomorrow. Other updates, I don't know. I'm kind of just don't have much to get on here to talk about, but I was bored of my audiobook. I'll maybe a quick update on the injury. So as you can see, I am walking, and I am walking with a 20-pound weighted vest, which is a huge improvement from a couple weeks ago, which is awesome. I mean, I went through a period of a couple weeks where I wasn't riding the bike. I wasn't even walking, really just letting my foot heal because I was experiencing a lot of pain. And that was pretty depressing. I rarely go through a period of my life where I'm not able to exercise. And heck, even if I can't exercise, I'm at least able to go and walk for a couple hours a day or something. And the ability, losing the ability to have walk pain free for a little bit. I mean, this sounds so cliche, but it really gives you a perspective on how important, I guess, a role of movement just plays in your life, but also, and this is the cliche part, but to never take it for granted. I mean, when you're healthy, when I'm running lots of miles, it's easy to take it for granted because it's something you've been doing for so long, but after not being able to do it for a little bit and then getting back to it, it just feels so good to just be able to get outside and walk without pain. So using this 20-pound weighted vest is sort of my bridge. I'm back on the bike now, back training, so I'm able to get some aerobic fitness back in that way, I think. But the walking, is kind of a bridge between the biking and then when I'll eventually get to run, which will hopefully be a couple weeks from now, but probably more like 3 to 4 weeks. I'm going to give this foot some time, even though I'm feeling zero pain right now, especially with this vest. But I figure, I'll walk with this vest for a little bit, a couple times a day, maybe even get like a 30 to 40 pound weight, maybe add to this one so I can carry around 30 to 40 pounds to kind of, just add a little bit of load before I then start to go to a run walk, kind of return to run type of thing, and then some more running. But I am seeing a light at the end of the tunnel with this injury. For a while, I wasn't. For about 4 to 5 weeks, it was just constant pain in the foot. It hurt with shoes. It hurt barefoot. It was kind of not fun. And I was like, man, is this ever going to get better? You go through like an existential crisis, I think, during every injury where you're like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to run again? And obviously you will. Just takes time. Just takes patience. Sorry for all the cars. Shouldn't have walked by a busy street. But you just got to be patient with these injuries, stress fractures, stress reactions. they suck. But like I've, said before to other people or maybe on my platforms, but there is one potential upside with a bone stress injury, and that is the fact that the recovery is pretty straightforward. It's 6 to 8 weeks of non-impact activity, and then you kind of return to run. And pretty much anytime I've had a bone stress, it's been that way. I've taken 6 to 8 weeks off. I've returned to run, and the return has been generally, I won't say, generally, smooth. I mean, I've never come back from a bone stress injury, tried to run again, and then have to stop and sort of regress. So I think I've been pretty smart about it in that way. So luckily there, I think the return is pretty straightforward, and it seems to be going a little bit more smoothly at this point. Again, like I said, my foot's feeling a lot better. I will note something I did do that was interesting. And, being the scientist that I am and being skeptical of a lot of modalities, whether that's healing or supplements or whatever, I was at a point a couple weeks ago where I was pretty frustrated with the injury. So I did decide to look into shockwave therapy, which I've actually been getting. So what shockwave therapy is, for people who may not be familiar, essentially it's, well, a shockwave. They're using a device to send high energy shockwaves, and they do that. They send it into your bone or the area of your body that's injured. So it can be used to treat multiple things. But I did find a local clinic around here in Austin, Texas, and they offered it. So I've done 3 sessions of shockwave therapy there. And the problem with things like that is this injury was bound to get better with time, just doing nothing. And it was getting better. But after 3 sessions, I did sort of start to feel a more exponential increase in the healing process, or, a decrease in the pain. I mean, even after the first 2 sessions, like there's kind of like a turning point almost. I just woke up one day and the pain was like a lot less than it had been for a while. So so the shockwave thing is kind of interesting, and it's not obviously something that's going to heal your injury overnight, but the idea is that these shockwaves are going to promote the natural healing process and sort of speed things up. And again, I was frustrated, and I know that this thing was going to heal on its own, but I've been getting some sessions of that. I have 3 more sessions to go, and it seems to be helping expedite that process of getting back and reducing the pain. So I don't know, for anybody out there interested in exploring that, I have had pretty good experience with that, and I did find a place in Austin, Texas that offer that service. So kind of interesting. Again, putting my skeptic hat on. Placebo? No, I don't. Anything can be placebo, I guess, but it's always hard to tell when something's going to get better with time, and then you apply sort of another healing modality to it. What are we going to attribute the healing to? Is it the shockwave therapy? Is it the time? Who knows? So anyway, something I've been doing. But anyway, I think looking forward to 2026, I think I'll do a separate post about this at some point. Maybe like a reflection on how this year went, or like what I plan for 2026. But just get back into running, obviously. I mean, before this injury happened, I was having so damn much fun with running, and then that kind of stopped. So I just want to get back to having fun with running again, and then sort of think about what races we're going to do next year. But that's not really on the radar for right now. Just want to stay healthy, get back to running, get back to a pretty good place, and then set some more goals. But I'm in a much better headspace, I think, than I was 3 to 4 weeks ago, where I was pretty much just not feeling great because the injury wasn't getting any better. And foot injuries are weird. Oddly enough, I've never had a foot injury really that was sustained while running. And so with a lot of other stuff, you kind of are like, okay, it's like I don't know, it's a hip or it's a calf or something. You just rest it and it's going to get better. With a foot, feet are hard because they're they're fragile little structures. They're strong, but they're fragile and delicate little structures, and you're on them all the time. You can't really stay off of it. I had a boot on, and I guess you can do crutches, or you could do a little wheelie thing around the house, but you can't really stay off your feet. So I think that's part of what makes the healing process a little longer with something like a foot injury. You're just not able to stay off of it. But it was also just a little bit worrisome because I'm like, man, running inherently, like, you can't really change your form or compensate in ways that are going to take the load off of your feet while you're running. So my worry, I had a couple nights where I like couldn't sleep because I was just thinking about, oh my gosh, is my foot just going to be effed forever? Am I never going to be able to run on this thing again? And I obviously know that's not going to be the case, or at least we hope not. I have a lot of people, smart people in my audience who, are willing to lend their advice, solicited or unsolicited, about how to return to run safely. So I'm confident that I'll get back and be strong. But enough talk about running. Just wanted to jump on for the quick update, the quick happy holidays wishes to everybody. Those 37 of you, thanks for joining. I never know if anybody's going to hop on these things because it is Christmas, but maybe you all have downtime such as I do right now for those joining. Late, my son's napping, my wife's napping, so the whole house is asleep, and I decided to get some extra training in today since it's pretty nice here in Austin, Texas. So that's kind of all I got to say today. Very, very appreciative for everyone, every single audience member. I mean, I think this year, physiologically speaking, grew to, I'd have to see what I started the year at. Merrick says, Happy Christmas, Merrick. I don't know what I started this year at subscriber-wise, but we're up to over 24,000 subscribers now for Physiologically Speaking, which is just insane to me. The fact that I get to send a couple emails out every week and, almost 25,000 people are seeing it. It's cool. And the thing about Substack, which is different than a lot of these other platforms like Instagram or X even can sometimes be like a little community, but what I love about Substack is that it kind of feels, it's cozier. I get to send an email directly into your inbox instead of send it out into the Twitterverse where some algorithm is going to decide who sees it. To me, that's comforting, and I love it. And I love that I get to kind of directly send people an email. But I just wanted to say thanks to all of you for, subscribing, whether you're a paid supporter or whether you signed up for free. Doesn't really matter to me. You're all equally as valuable. Well, okay, maybe the monthly subscribers are like $5 per month more valuable, but that's just technically speaking. I really appreciate everybody, and whether you're reading every single week, whether you're hopping on when you find an interesting topic, I'm just glad. Hopefully you're learning something. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I started this whole science communication thing off as a WordPress blog in graduate school. I had like 100 readers, I think. And then I migrated it to MailChimp eventually, started sending it out as a newsletter, was also writing on Medium. I think I had a couple thousand, and even then that was mind-blowing to me that I had 1,000 people who were reading my blog. It's weird to call them blogs now. I feel like that's sort of being phased out, but it was a blog at the time. And now, email newsletter with over 25,000 subscribers, not over 25, over 24, nearing on 25, that read my stuff every week. It's kind of mind-blowing to me. And I love it. There's nothing I love more. I believe it or not, it's literally my favorite part of the week is finding that study that I'm going to write about and sitting down and writing my newsletter. And I get such a dopamine rush from the anticipation of sending out that email on Friday morning. And even if it still was 50 people reading it, I would still get that same dopamine rush because it's just exciting to share science. If you were to see the number of studies that I just had in a backlog or the number of studies that I had to pick and choose from each week that I want to share. Every day I'm seeing like 3 to 4 plus studies that I want to write about, and it's nearly impossible to decide on one. So I wish I could write about a single study every day. And, heck, eventually, maybe one of these days, the Substack becomes the main thing that I do, and I can just write about a science study every single day. Not at the point where I can do that, and I have another full-time job that I enjoy immensely, and have no intentions, on stopping at any point. But if I could write about a study every day, I could, because there's so much stuff out there and so much interesting stuff. And it's really a joy to share it with people, share this knowledge that's out there, a lot of which it's not going to be covered in popular media or even just popular science media. It's just a lot of stuff in these scientific journals is somewhat obscure and would never see the light of day if people weren't blogging about it. So I consider it, part of the fun to sort of bring these studies into the public eye and share them with people. And I'm glad you all enjoy that. So just wanted to hop on to say that as well. Thank you. Thank you for reading. Have a great end of the year. And we will continue to improve on this newsletter experience. I will continue to improve as long as you keep reading. So again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great New Year. And I will talk to you soon.